Today we're coming to you with another episode of Self-Care Prescriptions, and we're almost done with the year. 2019 is almost in the books, but we're not there yet. And next week is actually Thanksgiving, which is a good time for a lot of people, bad time for others. For me, I'm starting to think about some rest and relaxation, seeing some people I hadn't seen, seeing some family, seeing some good food. But I know for a lot of people, the holidays and Thanksgiving in particular can be very stressful. So Dr. Robyn, hit me with why it's stressful for a lot of people.
Yeah, for a lot of people, Thanksgiving can be a stressful time because of the pace of it. It's so fast paced. It's a lot of demands that are placed on you at once. So for a lot of people, the demands of booking travel, having money to travel, if you're not traveling, staying at home, having people come to you. So it's just a lot of demand, a lot of expectations. What are you going to cook? Is your green bean casserole going to be, somebody else's? And so it's just a lot of different expectations that people have. And, the one thing that I want to stress about Thanksgiving is that, even though it's a positive time for most people, even positive events can be stressors, because the whole definition of a stressor is that it places some kind of extra demand on us. And it does, even though those demands may be positive, like interacting with family or traveling somewhere interesting or cooking, is still a stressor. And for some people, the holiday can just be something that is negative for them. So I know a lot of people maybe struggle with loneliness around the holidays, particularly if you've lost someone who you love in your family. Thanksgiving is a time typically when families get together, so that may be more of a trigger for you to start thinking about the people that you miss and the people that you can't have those relationships with, or even if somebody hasn't necessarily passed on or died, but maybe that relationship is not intact. Maybe you're estranged from your family, and so you feel like you may have a lot of regret or just a lot of sadness, or a lot of kind of dealing with those feelings of not having that social connection during the holidays. So I think it's a variety of reasons why it's stressful, and it can be good stress for some people or more negative or bad stress for other people.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I can see the different ways of being stressed and not being stressed, but also just a lot of emotions happening, because you can be happy, you can be sad. So I can see your emotions actually go through a roller coaster. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you for giving that insight on how and why it can be stressful. So with that being said, how can self-care help us during the holidays, and more in particular during the actual Thanksgiving time? Yeah,
so it's really helpful for us to take a pause for the cause during self-care, and really help during Thanksgiving, and really put our attention inward. So much of what we have to do for Thanksgiving is about kind of looking outward, cooking for other people, traveling other places, helping other people navigate whatever challenges they may be having. So it's really important for us to pour back into ourselves and take a moment to check in with ourselves to see how we are feeling. And so because the challenge that we don't want to get into is losing touch with ourselves and not knowing what we need. And so self-care really involves stopping to take a self-care pause and check in with ourselves, and then give yourself whatever it is that you need. Maybe if you're experiencing, you mentioned a roller coaster of emotions, self-care helps you to be aware that you're having that roller coaster, so that then you can manage it. Because if you're not even aware of the roller coaster, it might get out of control, and before you know it, you've had a negative experience, maybe blowing up on someone or something like that. And so you just want to be able to catch that ahead of time. And self-care, by checking in with yourself, asking what do I need, and then giving yourself what you need, that helps you.
And there we go. That's the what and the why again. See, I'm listening, and hopefully our listeners are actually following us and see that you always throw those in there. Yeah. The what and the why, and check in with yourself, because it's okay to check in with yourself. It's actually okay to be emotional during Thanksgiving. Yeah. And check in with yourself. Ask yourself why you're emotional. What caused this? What's triggering this? So I'm learning as we go along. A couple of episodes in, I done picked up on some stuff.
Finally.
And I get it. So now I want you to hit us with some tips. So tips for Thanksgiving or for the holiday week. It's not at the actual Thanksgiving dinner, but most people's families show up a day or two in advance, and they might stay a day later. They might overstay their welcome, or you might even overstay your welcome. So hit me with some tips that can help.
Yeah. Yeah, so the first tip that I have is really doing one thing at a time. So we talk about this a lot with multitasking. And even though we feel like we are being more productive, we're getting more things done. And while for some people that might be the case, you might be more efficient, you might actually be getting more things done when you multitask. The cost that you pay for multitasking is that you miss some of the things that are happening in the moment. So if you are trying to watch the football game, but then also have a conversation with someone and also eat, that's challenging to do all three of those things at the same time and really give your full attention to any one thing. And so what can happen is the food might be really awesome and you're not even tasting the food because you're focused on the half of you focused on the football game, the other half is focused on this conversation. And so you miss out on so many pleasant things. And it also can be overwhelming when we try to do too many things at once. Our system just gets overloaded, our brain gets overloaded, and then we end up feeling inefficient. We feel like we're falling short because we can't keep up. It's just like you're trying to juggle 3 balls at the same time, and then when one ball falls you feel bad, but if you were just focusing on holding one ball, there wouldn't be anything to feel bad about. So that's my first tip, is do one thing at a time during the holidays and really kind of give your full attention, your full focus to one thing. That can help you not feel so overwhelmed and actually make you more efficient at what you're doing.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I said a lot, and I'm told this a lot. You can be the jack of all trades and the master of nothing. So focus on one thing and do that one thing really well.
Yeah, focus on one thing at a time so if you're cooking, just focus on cooking. So that's the first one. The second tip, stop and smell the roses. So this is really about slowing down. So it's fast paced again, like Thanksgiving, it always feels like everything is urgent. And so I would say slow down, notice all of the positive things that are happening. This is really important because it's just our human tendency. We tend towards the negative. When something negative happens, we pay more attention to it. We give more weight to it. We ruminate on negative things that have happened in the past. So it's really important for us to notice what's going well. So if you have a positive conversation with this person, maybe that typically you don't see eye to eye with, really kind of slowing down, noticing that, paying attention to that, taking the time to savor the laughter, savor the flavor, savor the sights of the nice fall scenery outside, savor the sounds. If you're watching a movie, take time, just slow down. I realize, like, even I've been guilty of this in the past, just like running from thing to thing to thing on Thanksgiving Day, and then by the end of the day you're like, where did the day go? But a lot of you had 24 hours in the day, or 12 hours if you were asleep for half of them, or you had some portion of the day while you were awake. But if we're not paying attention, if we're not slowing down enough to really kind of grasp what's happening throughout the day, we just feel like, oh, I had a whole Thanksgiving break. If I just got Thursday off of work or got Thursday, Friday off of work, you feel like you didn't get any day off of work because you weren't even present. You didn't slow down enough to pay attention and to really be in the moment while it was happening. So that is my second tip, is to just slow down, notice what's happening.
Gotcha. So we're going to stop multitasking and we're going to slow down.
Yes.
Or we might slow down first, then don't multitask.
Yes.
But either or, whichever order you go in.
Whatever order, I'll take it. Whatever order you go in.
I got you.
Then the third tip is don't let dinner be your first meal. And so I know you can attest to this, that when I don't eat, I get angry. And I think a lot of people do, like you are more prone to irritability. You might be more prone to just overeating and eating to the point where you just feel uncomfortable. You feel sick. You feel really sluggish and sleepy. So it's really about kind of giving your body what you need. Food is one of those basic needs, and you shouldn't get in the habit of depriving yourself on Thanksgiving. And I know it can be easy because you might be in the kitchen, you're, preparing, you're traveling, all these other things, but make sure you get some kind of food in your system so that you can be in a space where you can have more patience. Maybe when people are bringing up stuff at Thanksgiving dinner that you would prefer not to talk about, things that are maybe triggering for you, you can be more in a better headspace and kind of be more thoughtful about how you want to respond to those stressful interactions. And food kind of gives you that. It's the nurturance that kind of settles you and puts you in a good headspace. So you don't want to kind of get there where you're already hungry, you're like starving, like you're not even hungry anymore, you're starving, and you are more irritable because they said the meal was going to be ready at 3 o'clock, but now it's 5 o'clock and the food is still not ready, and right. People are getting on your nerves. So don't let it be your first meal. Like have some substance. You want to be hungry when you get there because you want to be able to enjoy the meal, but you don't want to be starving, and there's definitely a difference between being hungry and starving.
Gotcha, that makes sense. So get a meal ahead of time. Don't let the actual Thanksgiving meal be your first meal, because you could go in there just not doing well, and the first thing somebody say, you waiting on it, it's gonna set you off. So
yeah, because you're irritable. I mean, like when we don't eat, it does really have an impact on our mood and how we feel and how we approach situations. So you just want to save yourself that and at least eat breakfast that day if you can bear it. Definitely do that.
Gotcha. You got any more tips for us?
Yes. So I have 2 more. So the next one is take a break from it all. I would say take frequent bathroom breaks. And for what? To breathe, to recharge, to take care of yourself if you happen to get triggered. So for me, like I love being around my family. I really enjoy it. And I'm an introvert. And so as an introvert, that means that it really takes a lot of emotional energy for me to be on and for me to be talking to people and interacting with them all day. And so naturally, I just need some time to press the pause button to recharge my battery, to just be with myself. That's just it has nothing to do with the people, nothing to do with me not liking them. Couldn't be further from the truth, but it's just what I need to keep being in this space and keep existing in this space and not kind of burn out during Thanksgiving. So I would encourage you, if you're that kind of person, or even if you're not, if you notice yourself getting triggered, if you notice yourself just needing a break from it all, needing some time to just breathe, using the restroom as an option to really kind of take that break. So it's just it just helps you to be able to recharge and get quiet, and don't feel bad about disappearing if you need to gracefully bow out of a conversation that's happening at the dinner table because you just need a mental break. You need to go in the bathroom, listen to your favorite song, and just help you calm down. Whatever you need to do, take breaks so that you know what you need. And again, that's a part of that pausing, checking in with yourself so that then you know what to give yourself.
Gotcha. Check in with yourself and take breaks. Nothing's wrong with taking breaks. So.
Yeah. And the bathroom is always available. So, gotcha. You can, if it's too cold outside for you to go on a walk, you can always go in the bathroom, take a break there. Whatever you need to do what's effective. And so then the last tip I would say is to remember the reason for the season. So remember that Thanksgiving is all about connecting. It's about reflecting on all the things that you have to be grateful for. It's about actually giving thanks, showing gratitude, expressing gratitude for the things that you have, and resting, which I think a lot of people can use. So don't let the stressors of Thanksgiving kind of get in the way of you getting those benefits of connection, reflection, giving thanks, and resting. And so one thing that you can do to kind of help you remember the reason for the season and not kind of get lost in all the hustle and bustle of the Thanksgiving season is to really ask yourself, when you feel yourself getting worked up about something, is it really life or death? Like, is it really that serious, basically? Because a lot of times we care so much about the holiday being pleasant for everyone. So say you're hosting this year, we're hosting family. And so sometimes when you're hosting, it's really important for people to have a pleasant time when they're at your house and for people to enjoy the food that you're preparing. And so a lot of times we put pressure on ourselves, and then say, the turkey comes out and it's a little bit burnt. You might blow a gasket or just be really upset with yourself and be very critical of yourself for something that really in the grand scheme of things is really small. Yes, turkey is important on Thanksgiving. Everybody expects turkey. But if it's a little, I like to call it Cajun style, a little blackened, it's fine. People will still eat it. They'll be okay. There's other things that they can eat. So just asking yourself when you're tempted to get worked up over small things, will it be this serious when I think about it a week from now or even a year from now? Will it really be that serious? Is it really that important? So, if you forget your favorite ingredient at the store and you have to improvise, just be okay with it. Don't stress yourself out and don't kind of be harsh with yourself off of small things that are may seem really urgent in the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, again, are very small. So this includes like how the house looks. If you didn't, get a chance to do a deep cleaning of your house and everybody's coming over, it's fine. Like, it looks lived in, right? So don't make a big deal about that. Or if you happen to, give favors or give gifts out, this might be more relevant for Christmas, but just do the best that you can and leave it there, and know that it's more about, again, those reasons for the seasons of connecting, reflecting, and giving thanks. So don't let yourself get worked up over small things and let that kind of steal your joy during the holiday season. So that's my last tip, is to remember the reason for the season, which is connection, reflection, giving thanks, and resting.
I love it. Connection, reflection, and giving thanks. And we appreciate these tips. And we hope no one actually has a stressful Thanksgiving, but we hope if they do encounter any kind of issues that they can just get on the podcast and listen to it, or maybe they can just drop you a message or inbox you or something and you can help them out. But hopefully everyone has something to actually be thankful for. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for the podcast and our audience that actually enjoy the self-care information that we actually give them. So happy Thanksgiving to everyone listening, and until next time,
take care.
Thank you for taking better care of you and for listening to another episode of Self-Care Prescriptions. Stay connected and tuned up with Dr. Robyn Gobin. Visit RobynGobin.com or follow us on all platforms at Dr. Robyn Gobin. Stay healthy and stay balanced with Self-Care Prescriptions.